Hey you guys, today we're building Arthur's family home. Hey, what's up you guys? It's me, Tracy Loren, and as you heard in the intro, today we're building Arthur's family home. But before we get into building this home, many of you guys might not know what Arthur is or what is it about. Arthur is a television series based on Arthur's adventure book series, which are written by Mark Brown. Now, Mark Brown kind of was inspired by his own life as an 8-year-old and wanted to share that experience. So he wrote this book series, which then became an animated series. And I grew up with the books and the animated series. So this build is really near and dear to my heart because, you know, Arthur has been in my life in the beginning stages of my life. So this was a really fun build and very nostalgic for me. So let me know if you grew up watching Arthur, and if so, what episode or book did you like the most? Let me know in the comments below. Now, Arthur's home was a challenge for me, and as you see, Arthur's home looks like it's one story, but it really is two story. And the second story is inside the roof. Now, if you are not a sim player, you might not know this, but it is literally impossible to build a home or a room inside a roof. Now, in real life, it's really simple. You could do it, but somehow in The Sims, it's just not possible. You can do it and get away with it, but the rooms are going to be super duper small. And the layout of Arthur's home, his second floor isn't small. It's really big. It holds 3 bedrooms, a bathroom, and a massive hallway, and a little coat closet or junk closet. And yeah, it's virtually impossible to do that in The Sims. So one thing that I did is I made the second floor and I added it to the basement. So, you know, it's not identical per se, and by that I mean there isn't a second floor. There are 2 floors, but it's the first floor in the basement. So I added everything that should have been in the second floor to the basement. Another thing that I did is I did add access to the attic, and I added the stairs, but it literally goes to nothing. But I just wanted, you know, Arthur's home to be just as it is in my mind and what I remember as a kid. So those stairs are there just for cosmetic reasons and they don't really have a purpose. So you could easily remove it if you do happen to download this build. Now, one thing that I really wanted to get into were some facts about Arthur. Usually in my videos, I usually ramble on about the build and things like that, and personally, I find that a tad bit boring, so I thought it'd be a really neat idea to share some facts about, you know, the build that I'm actually building, and in this case, about the Arthur series. So I learned a lot of new information that I didn't know, which was really cool, and I think it'd be really awesome for you guys to know these fun facts. So one thing is that the character was born out of a bedtime story, which is something I did not know. So Mark Brown told his first Arthur story to his son Talon, which was requested by a bedtime story, and he wanted to know about a weird animal. And Mark Brown was thinking, okay, animal, and thought in alphabetical order and came up with aardvark, which is a really weird animal. But because of that, he then came up with this huge series, which is the Arthur series. And that is something really neat. And I did not know that. Another thing is that Arthur will never grow up. Arthur will always and will remain 8 years old. He will never take the SATs, according to Brown. And that is very true, because growing up, I always wondered if he grew up, because, you know, I didn't know that Arthur still continued to this day, different series. So I always thought, oh, he must be in his teenage years, but apparently he isn't. He will always remain 8, which also means that his sibling, DW, and the rest of the gang will always remain the same age, which I think is super neat. And I think it's the same with other franchises such as SpongeBob, and I don't know, what other franchise do they stay the same? I think Phineas and Ferb, which I think is a really cool thing, because that means there are endless adventures and endless journeys, right? Some of Arthur's antics are based about Brown's life. Now, he pulled all of that material that you see in episodes and books from his own experience as an 8-year-old in the 3rd grade. And that includes the principals and the teachers, and also including the bullies, such as Binky, which was really annoying in the series. But you know, that does happen in real life. There are bullies in the 3rd grade. So all of his experiences and all of the things that he endured were written into the series and the books, which is super cool. And for what I remember, a lot of shows are based on the writer's life, so those are the ones that really become huge hits because they're super relatable. Now, another fact is that Mark Brown has made it a habit of hiding his actual kids' names in the series and the TV series. An example of this is the moving company in the show. It's called Tollin's Moving Company. And then another example is Muffy orders pastries from Eliza's Pastries. Isn't that super cute? And the last fact that I'm going to be sharing, which I found super interesting, is the fact that the kids are voiced by actual kids. Now, most animated series are, you know, the young kids are casted with adult voice actors. And an example that I could think of is Timmy Turner. What else? Mario. I think Mario's an adult, but Timmy Turner is the first thing that comes up to my mind, because the lady that voices Timmy Turner also voices someone from the Powerpuff Girls. So that just gives you an example of how cool that is, that real kids are voicing the kids in this series. And as of right now, there are 7 voice actors for Arthur, and it's still counting. Obviously, the kids grow up and they need to find a new voice actor. Alright, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this build. Make sure to stick out for the visual walkthrough in the end. It's going to be super detailed and exciting. So make sure to download this build and let me know how you guys feel about it in the comment section, or tag me on Twitter. Alright, you guys, it was a pleasure talking to you, and I will see y'all soon. Bye!